So the next presenter is Dr. Chetan Sharma. Dr. Chetan Sharma is working as a postdoctoral researcher in the Department of Food and Hospitality Management at Drexel University in the USA. Previously, he worked as a postdoctoral researcher at Lincoln University here in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Chetan is a Kansas State University graduate with a doctoral degree in human nutrition and sensory analysis and consumer behavior. The research aim of his doctoral work was to improve the flavor of potatoes in new breeding lines to help increase the fresh potato consumption. And the title of his talk of today is Potato Flavor and Consumption. Over to Chetan.
Hello everyone, I am presenting a few findings on the topic of potato flavor and consumption from my doctoral research. So let's start. In the aftermath of consumption decline, potato flavor has a lot of attention, and in the due course you may have noticed many publications on the same. Along with potato flavor, some other measures were recommended by these publications, like we should lower the price, we should replace other foods with the potatoes, but we should also understand the fact that potato is a low involvement product, and by low involvement I specifically mean that it is less consciously reasoned, just like sugar. So the question is like how we can increase the involvement then. So sensory science can play a big role here, especially the descriptive analysis, because descriptive analysis in my viewpoint is a tool to fetishize the normal by differentiating it from the rest. So following the same route, I used descriptive to develop a vocabulary which we can use to provide the information to the consumer. And you may have heard um, that information makes taste better. So and also information can help you get the eyeballs. So this thing will help break the dull image of the potatoes. So in the due course, we developed a vocabulary. It is known by lexicon development. We used 55 cultivars, and consensus-based descriptive analysis approach was used. A very unique concepts were identified, defined and scored, like a cardboard, beanie, toasted, musty, earthy, eggy, nutty, vegetable complex, etc. And we covered all the modalities. If you need more information, you can look for the source mentioned here. So the next thing was the role of appearance and flavor with the potato consumption. So we found that the distance between the color categories in participants' unconscious is enormous compared to flavor. And it is not just by chance. Linguistic, if we speak linguistically, color space is divided differently by different languages, such as if we say compared to English speakers, Russians makes an obligatory distinction between lighter or darker blues. So from our perspective, so from potatoes perspective, the high magnitude of difference between the colors as compared to the flavor, it may be good to say that the biggest hurdle for the upcoming novel and the vibrant color varieties is the color rather than the flavor. And so this was the second finding from my research, and we found that and lastly, we found that the adherents or the root of the adherents can play a significant role in the potato overall flavor perception. As potato is perceived smooth, buttery, and creamy, it may be could it we are speculating that it could be due to two things. One, the root of the adherents is a retronasal, and retronasal other stimuli increases the intensity of thickness and creaminess perception. And the other thing for this flavor is the non-soluble, non-volatile solubles such as sweet, bitter, salty, metallic, and pungent compounds. They are contributing in the overall flavor of the potatoes. So key takeaways from my research was that potato color is far more constraining factor than flavor. Retronasal and low non-volatile soluble compounds, they have a big role in the flavor perception of potatoes. Uh, if we want to increase the consumption of the potatoes, we should also look for segmentation, because there are many segments existing in the market. And we also found that from flavor perspective, that bitter, some people like the bitter taste of the potatoes, and breeders actually were actually removing the bitter tasting genes, so which is not good, because there are different segments, and specifically the health conscious segments like the like even that bitterness. And the final key takeaway, which we are still working on, we are presenting an idea of potato boutiques, which encompasses the both the sociology as well as sensory science aspect. I would like to thank my collaborators from Colorado State University, Oregon, Kansas State, and of course my sensory center, K State, Manhattan. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chetan, for a nice presentation. As we know, it's important to engage the consumer in our research, because they in the end will determine the success of our product. So well done.